I am super excited today because you guys know how much I love Halloween, so today we are going to be unboxing, setting up, and reviewing a 26-foot inflatable pumpkin from OZIS. Now this can be found on Amazon. I actually am going to put a link below. You guys can go on over there and check it out. Now once you get to the listing, you're going to see that they have sizes ranging from 16 feet all the way up to 40 feet. This is the 26-foot version. Now, if I take this top box down, you can see that we are in my front yard. I have a pretty sizable front yard. However, if you watched my last review on the Warsun inflatable nightclub, you know that that nightclub took up almost my entire yard. It was 20 by 30, but it was only 13 feet tall. This sucker is 26 feet tall and 22 feet wide. So it is also going to take up my entire front yard. Now, when you buy this, it does come with the blower and the inflatable pumpkin. We're going to open both of these right now, take a look at them, and I'm going to show you everything that comes in the boxes. Then we're going to blow this thing up. Now, I will also say that this does not come with lights. So I actually have a box of lights here. This is one long string. And when we get to that part, I'm going to show you how you can hook these up inside the pumpkin to make it glow at night. So we're going to open up the blower first. I will say these are packed very well, and they come individually when you order them. I got the blower and the inflatable pumpkin the same day within about an hour of each other. So let's go ahead and get this blower out of the box here. Got a handle on it that makes it very easy to grab and pull out of the box, carry around the yard. As you can see, it's yellow. We have a little bit of red on that side. I honestly don't know if they will all look the same. This is probably about 15 pounds right here. It's not too bad. There is a sticker on the top here giving all the information about this fan if you want to pause it and check that out if that is important to you. Also in the box is a little instruction paper here and a bag of 4 stakes. As you can see on the bottom of the blower, there are 2 holes on that side, 2 holes on that side, and you put the stakes through there to secure it in the ground so it doesn't fall over. Here is the power button on this side right here. And just as I always recommend, if you have a big inflatable that requires a blower, you test the blower first before you even take the inflatable out. The last thing you want to do is get your inflatable out of the box, unfolded, unrolled, and ready to go, and then find out that your blower doesn't work. So we got them plugged in. Let's go ahead and give it a try. And there it's working. Now that we know that that works, let's go ahead and get the inflatable out of the box here. Now this weighs about 60 pounds, maybe a little shy of 60 pounds. At least that's what it said on the FedEx website. So the inflatable is in this box. I'll show you that in just a second, but we also have this bag here. We have some orange fabric to patch it with in case it should get cut or torn. There are 4 heavy-duty stakes in here, and let me tell you what I like about these. It's the bottom right here. That screws into the ground, or at least when you pound it in, it has threads to help it stay in the ground. Now, personally, I've blown up these big inflatables before, so I'm not going to use these. I just want to make sure that my inflatables are 100% secure when they're sitting in my yard. I do not want them to blow away. So I like to use these. You get these at Home Depot. They screw into the ground, and these are going nowhere. If you think these are a little extreme, you can get this kind called orange screw. These come from Amazon. There's 4 of them in a pack. These also screw into the ground. They come with a clear sleeve that actually goes through the hole in the top there, and then you use that to twist it into the ground. I'm sure these would be perfectly fine for this kind of inflatable. This is kind of overkill, I will admit. I just don't want it to blow away, so it's well worth the extra investment to get these. They're about 20 bucks. Going back to the bag, we also have a handful of ties. These will tie to the loops on the pumpkin, and the other end goes into the stake. And then we have sandbags here. If you don't want to put the stakes in the ground, fill these up with sand and tie your ties right to the bag. There are 4 of these sandbags, and of course the 5th bag that all that other stuff came in. So yes, knowing that what we are going to be inflating is a big orange pumpkin, and this is gray that you see peeking out of the box, that tells me that it is in its own storage bag already. And that is the easiest way to get it out of the box because it is heavy. So we do have instructions here. I am definitely getting excited now. So straight out of the box, it is in cellophane, its own storage bag, and it is tied up tight with these straps. You got to cut these straps. They are tied way too tight, and that is just to secure it in shipping. So I have to say, before I even start to unroll this, this is really high quality, guys. When you think of an inflatable for like Halloween or Christmas, you think of the kind that you get at like Lowe's, Home Depot, stores like that. This is nothing like that. The kind of fabric that is used on those is much cheaper quality than this right here. This is probably 3 to 4 times thicker than that kind of fabric. The stitching on this is very high quality. Let's go ahead and get this unrolled. I am so excited about this thing, guys. Let's get this unrolled, and then we will figure out how we're gonna position it in the yard here. You can already see parts of the face right here. I believe this is part of the smile. Okay, so this is the back, and you can tell because it has the air chute. This is what connects to the blower. So when you're deciding which way you want your pumpkin to be facing, use this as a guide and just always know that this is gonna be the back right here. I see a zipper right here on the back as well. Another zipper on this side. And we will find out later, but I believe that is how you have to access the inside of the pumpkin to hang those lights so that he lights up at night. Wow, guys, this thing is absolutely enormous. So we've got it unfolded and stretched out here pretty good. I know there's a lot more fabric on the bottom there. We've got our air chute back here, and I've only so far seen 2 zippers, one on each side of the back. Now I do see some of the loops for our tie downs in different areas here. I believe these are the upper ones, and I also think there are some on the bottom. So let's go ahead and start getting this blown up. Now I think we're in a good place to do this, but since we have the trees over here, let's go ahead and pull it this way a little bit. That way when it inflates, there's nothing obstructing it at all. And we want the face to be going that way. So we're gonna go ahead and put the air blower right here. And the air chute goes right over the front there. Wrap the ties around, and that is what will secure it on there. Give it a nice little bow. Okay, we are just about ready. I am not gonna stake this in yet, just in case we have to move this. Here we go. Okay, it is up. I had to come all the way out to the road for you to see it because it would not fit in the frame otherwise. That thing is absolutely enormous. Now, let me tell you a couple things about setting it up. So first of all, it took about 20 minutes for it to entirely inflate. The blower is not too bad. It's really not too loud. It's a lot quieter right now. When I first turned it on, it was flapping the fabric all around, and it was kind of loud until it got completely inflated. There are tether loops in certain locations. There's one here, one here. I noticed there's some on the bottom that you can't even see in case you need to make sure that it's secure right there where it's at. There are also 2 up on the top on this side, 2 on the top on the other side, and 2 on this bottom over here. And then, okay, you can see the ones down here on the very bottom if you look close there. So there are a total of 12 loops on there. You can have 12 tethers if you need them. I would say it's probably smart to use the bottom 2 on each side and the top 2 on each side. You just want to make sure that when the wind blows, it doesn't go rolling down the street. Now, as you watched in the time lapse, I did have to keep circling the pumpkin, making sure that it was blowing upright and keeping an eye on exactly where these tethers were going to be. And like I said before, you pretty much have to use the face as a guide. The only black marks on the whole thing are the black marks on the front that make up the face. So it's easy to know what the front is, and you can just tug and pull and redirect it until it's in the place you want it to be. Now, speaking of marks, I did notice you cannot really see it unless you're looking, but right up here, There is a little letter B and a number 8, if you can even see that. It looks to be sewn in there. That is the only place I noticed anything like that. It is sewn in and it's way up there on the back, so you can't even see it. Now, as you saw, this can be done with one person, but I highly recommend having 2 or even 3 people to do it. While it's deflated and in the process of inflating, it's not bad, but once this thing gets completely inflated and the wind starts blowing, it starts rolling around. You want to make sure you have your stakes and ties ready because it will go fast if that wind blows. As for the stakes, I'm just going to say it again, I highly recommend you spring the extra couple bucks and get these twist stakes. Once you inflate this thing, you will completely understand what I'm talking about. The ones that come with it here, these will serve the purpose of keeping it in place while you're inflating it, but believe me, once it is inflated, you're going to want the heavy duty stakes. So let me just walk up here and show you just how big this thing actually is. Look at this. I don't even come up to the top of the mouth here, guys. How insane is that? 26 feet tall, 22 feet wide. This thing is enormous. So let's come up here and I want to show you the fabric. Like I said, this is much thicker than a normal inflatables fabric. That is some seriously high quality fabric on there for an inflatable. I've had hundreds of inflatables over the year and I've never had one this high quality. That is in there, that is going nowhere. Now the only thing left to do is figure out how we're gonna get lights in this thing, because when it gets dark, we wanna see it lit up. So what we need to do is figure out how we're gonna hang the lights from the inside in the middle up by the stem. Obviously, we can't do this while it's inflated. We have to get inside to access the loop that is on the ceiling of the pumpkin, if a pumpkin has a ceiling. So there is this zipper over here, which looks to be about 24 inches long. And opening that up, I can see that there is another zipper on the floor in there. So we need to remember to zip that up the next time we inflate it. That is what we need to hang the lights on right there. Now obviously this is going to be much easier to hang those in there before you inflate it. I've even seen online where some people have been able to just crawl right in here, deflate it a little bit, then they can access it from the inside. I'm a big guy. That ain't gonna happen. So we are gonna leave our tethers and our stakes in place. We're gonna turn off the blower and deflate this as much as we need to in order to hang those lights. So that is deflating now, and once it gets down far enough, we need to make sure that we can reach into one of those zippers and access that hole up there. So we're about halfway inflated. I got my light string right here going in the zipper. This is as far as I can fit inside, but there is the top over there. And you can see the loop that we need to get to in order to tie our lights on. And that was not that difficult. I just grabbed onto the fabric and kept on pulling till I got it over here. And there we go. I just ran it through those 2 holes and then tied a loose knot around that loop right there. Kind of hot in these rhinos. Okay, we are back in business. It took about 5 minutes for that to inflate back up. You can see I have the lights trailing in on the side over here. This is actually a 50-foot string, so I put as much in as I thought I would need, and it is not pulling on this, so I must have guessed it correctly. So there it is, guys, 26 feet tall, 22 feet wide, and in just a little bit here, it's going to be dark, and we'll get to see what it looks like with the lights on. But first, let's see what the wife thinks.
Oh my God! That is amazing.
So I'm just walking around the neighborhood checking out how it looks from different places. I was just up here talking to my neighbor, and look how awesome this looks. It's just front and center, takes over the whole neighborhood. I mean, look at this. Look at the Hummer over here. It dwarfs my Hummer. Oh my gosh, look how it looks from this end of the street. It's just peering out from behind that big tree there. Look at that. That is amazing. Trick-or-treaters coming up the street would see that and be like, let's go to that house. Look at that. That looks so spooky right there. It's so huge, it looks like a hot air balloon. All right, so my son, that other Nate guy, is here right now. He just came over.
As I was pulling around the corner, from all the way down there, I could see this thing like it was rising like the Great Pumpkin from the Peanuts. I could see it like rising as I was turning the corner, and this ginormous orange ball, you can tell right away it's a pumpkin turning the corner, This thing is nuts. It is the biggest pumpkin I've ever seen in my life. I love it.
So this is how it looks, guys, all lit up at night. Check that out. That is absolutely awesome. If you ask me right here, right now, is this worth every penny? The answer is 100% yes. I took a walk around the neighborhood to show you what it looks like from both ends, and it is absolutely unbelievable. From every direction, it towers over the cars, the trees, the house, the bushes. If I were a trick-or-treater, I'd be running straight to this house. If I were a neighborhood decorator, I would be jealous of this house. If you feel that there's something I've missed or I haven't covered, if you have any questions, please leave them as a comment below and I will get to you as soon as I can. Other than that, enjoy this final look and happy Halloween.